We're Kathleen and Joseph, and in the summer of 2019, we decided to take our 3 kids on an epic adventure and stop trading time for money. Tired of the rat race, we took off on an 8-month adventure all over the country. And one thing it did was teach us that life is too short to do anything but follow your dreams. And also that we're better together. It hasn't always been easy, but it's always been worth it. So, with following our dreams, we sold our first RV and are currently renovating our 5th wheel. This has definitely been a learning process, and we have had our fair share of setbacks, but we're excited to see it all come together. So join our adventure as we turn our 5th wheel into our home and hopefully inspire you to take your next leap of faith. Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, my name is Kathleen.
My name is Joseph.
And we wanted to put together a video because we've been walking around our RV lately saying how just thankful we are for certain random things in our RV now that we live full-time stationary again in an RV. There are tons of videos on the internet of basics, necessities, and what you need to get started in RV life. And we're not going to be talking about those today. Today, we're talking about all of the random but necessary, in our opinion, things that just make RV life easier, right?
Yeah, so just to give you guys like a little background, if you don't know us, we live in Texas. Everyone who doesn't live in Texas is always saying that it's humid. It's humid outside because we took some preventative measures to kind of watch out for keeping it cool inside. So these are kind of like some of our things for if you're full-time and you're in Texas, Florida, anywhere with humidity. Arizona, if you full-time there, good luck. We did it for a month, and yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
But a lot of these things are they work and they're good in humidity, but they just make your life easier in an RV and more convenient. If you like this video and you want more videos like this, please like this video and subscribe if you want to see more. Okay, so let's start with number 1. These are in no particular order at all. Number 1 would be a white noise machine. If you have kids or if you don't have kids, a white noise machine is just necessary. Both kids' rooms have a white noise machine in it, and we actually found the one that we use at a hotel we stayed at randomly because it was right off the freeway, and once we turned that bad boy on, you couldn't hear that noise at all. So we were like, we need these in the RV. So white noise machine helps with the kids to go to bed, helps with other things, and we didn't have them at all in the first travel trailer, and now we use them every single night.
Okay, so number 2 is this little guy right here. So we got a pack of these. They're basically like ultrasonic bug repellers. So every park you go to, some of them won't have bugs, some spray for bugs, most don't. But there's bugs everywhere in Texas. There's bugs all over the country from when we used to travel. These keep the bigger bugs out of your rig. I'm not going to say they keep all bugs out of your rig, because we've had like gnats and no-see-ums in Texas get into our rig. You kind of can't defeat the gnats with this thing. But the bugs that matter. Yeah, big bugs like
they are out.
Cicadas, grasshoppers, spiders. Yeah. These have been keeping them out. I can't say that they work or they don't. I know where we've been, we've had spiders right on the windows, like build spider webs on a slide, and they've never came inside because of these. And we have these. Ours are, they'll be linked below, but ours I think range in a house about 1,400 square feet, and we have like 3 of these in our rig. You can't hear them, they're ultrasonic. You just plug them in, they beep like 2 or 3 times.
So you don't need to have any chemicals or anything like that.
There's no chemicals, you don't have to spray around the corners of your rig if you have small kids. And they're quiet, you just plug them in, they give you a little ambient light because they glow, they glow blue. But yeah, pretty cheap and definitely worth it.
Number 3, dehumidifier. You need it. You need it in an RV. I feel like even if you, maybe not so much on the West Coast, but anywhere from Texas on, you need a dehumidifier. It has helped so much with the temperature in the RV. We're able to keep our RV under 80 degrees even in over 100 degree weather.
Yep.
And we never could do that before. And it just makes it feel better, you know?
True.
It's not like muggy or anything like that. And it's crazy the amount of water that comes out of this thing. But I highly, highly recommend a dehumidifier.
The dehumidifier. So we have a bigger, I want to say ours is a lot bigger. It's rated for like a residential home. But the dehumidifier basically cuts down on you having to have like damp rid packs or any kind of moisture pulling packs and continually have to buy
you only pay for it once.
Yeah, so you pay $100, $150, maybe even $250 if you want the big boy. For a dehumidifier, they definitely work. It helps you keep your rig cooler in the summertime. In the wintertime, you're gonna want the moisture in your rig to keep it warmer. But in the summertime, like we stayed in Galveston, we were changing our dehumidifier. We were dumping it twice a day. But you could tell, because we have this clock that's another part of the video, but we have this clock that tells the humidity amount in the rig, and we were hovering around 40% inside of our rig, and outside it was 100% humidity. So it was a big difference in our rig compared to out our rig. And I always ask people, I'm like, hey, do you guys have a dehumidifier in your rig? I know it's super random, but RV or talk. I'm like, do you have a dehumidifier?
Gotta help each other out.
And most people say no, and those are the people that are always talking about how hot it is in Texas and how they can't get their rig to cool down.
So let's talk about the clock. So next, super random, but for the longest time Joseph was like, we need a clock. Yes, we have our phones and we have watches and all that, but if you're just coming out here, when he was going into work, which he no longer does, he would be like, well, I don't know what time it is. And so having a digital clock, it has the date, it has the day of the week, the humidity, it has obviously the time, and it's right there where you see it, and so it's helpful. So
it has the biggest two things besides the time that I take off of it is the humidity and the temperature. So the temperature inside the rig and the humidity. So those two will tell me how fast and how cool I can get the rig. Texas in the summertime, where we've been at, it's the high has been around like 100, but it generally hovers around 90, 91 degrees outside. Our rig is generally always 75 or lower for the most part. If it's a super hot day like a 105, I think we seen a 105, the rig got up to 80, and there I kind of couldn't beat it because I had the moisture down to about 38%. And I had the air down in the 60s, and it was just barely keeping it at 80. But I want to say we've only had one of those days in the whole summer, and we're in July. So thank God, because in Arizona,
blowing my mind. There is no way that would happen.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen there. Okay,
so in the kitchen, a cast iron skillet. I know that, again, these are super random things that you didn't know you needed, but you need them. A cast iron skillet, it eliminates so many oven pans, or just so many pans in general, because you can cook so many things. I make cornbread in it, I make cinnamon rolls, I make casseroles, I make so many things in that. And because you can put it in the oven, you can use it on over a campfire. I've never done that, but you can. You can use it on the stove. There's just so many ways to use it, and I just love that it's simple, and it eliminates a lot of extra kitchen clutter.
And the taste. So you season a cast iron skillet if you never had one. I'm sure most people have had them, but you season it, so the taste of the food is a lot better. So there's been days where we wanted to use our griddle outside, because I just like having the heat and the smell of like cooked foods outside, to where it has been raining. We might go to the store, I'm like, okay, we're gonna do turkey burgers tonight, and it starts raining like torrential downpour, Texas style. And you can still grill and get that griddle flavor with your cast iron. So inside, it's a little bit warmer, not as warm as you run in the oven, but you can still get that same good flavor inside the rig when it's raining. What number are we on?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I have no idea what number we're on. I just know there's 10 things. So next is the ice maker. Okay.
Ice maker.
Ice maker is life in an RV.
Ice maker is a game changer.
We did not have one. I know we talked about before we were on the RV, when we were in a travel trailer, but it's because that to this, how we live in a fifth wheel RV now is like totally different.
Yes. We're spoiled now.
We're so spoiled now. And an ice maker. We didn't have ice when we were on the road before.
No.
And now we have ice, and on these hot summer Texas days, having ice is amazing. I use it in shakes and all of our drinks, all of our water. Like, it's just, it's nice to have. So.
The ice maker is definite. I would say it's a definite must if you're full timing. If you're weekending, I would say you don't need an ice maker.
Right.
But if you eat ice at your house all the time,
but we have seen weekenders with their ice makers sitting outside. So.
It's worth the investment. If you're using the ice trays, use the ice trays. Maybe you save up, wait until Black Friday. Maybe you go to Costco, you wait until they're on sale. Get the ice maker. It will change everything about RVs. There's so many things with RVs that go wrong. Having that one thing be really good all the time, worth it.
And that's the whole point of why we're doing this, because we just filmed a pros and cons video. You guys heard some of the cons. These will make your life a little bit easier.
These are all pros.
Okay, motion LED lights, so you can get snacks at night now.
Motion battery powered LED lights.
Not just for snacks, but it's helpful. We have them in our pantry. We have them
closet,
all kinds of places.
We have them
closet,
underneath the cabinets in the kitchen. Pretty much anywhere where it's like dark crevices, but we're in there all the time. So it helps. So they're not on. They're motion, so they're not on when the cabinets aren't open and there's no motion, so it doesn't kill the batteries.
Power,
But when you're boondocking too, because we think about that, even though we don't boondock anymore, it won't use your battery power. So if you're walking around the rig and you got them in certain spots, it'll light up your rig. It won't use your battery power, and you'll still be able to see the things that you want to see in the dark.
Next is kind of his territory, and the next one is an RV wash.
Oh yeah, so I want to say it is called, we'll know for sure, but I don't have it in front of me. I think it's called Aero Cosmetics
Which is weird.
Wash Wax All.
Yeah.
So it's a waterless RV wash and wax that I found on YouTube, of course. And I didn't believe it at first because I'm like, there's no way I'm spraying this on my vehicle or my RV dry, wiping it off, and there's not going to be any damage to the paint or the gel coat on the RV. So I took the plunge, I bought it, and I've been using it on everything. I haven't used it on my truck yet because it's been raining like crazy in Texas. But I have been using it on the rig, and with the rig, it's weird. It's been raining, I would say every other day, if not every day, torrential style downpour, and the RV still looks super clean. We don't take our RV in the mud. Like I said, we don't boondock anymore. If you do get mud caked onto your rig or on your vehicle, you will have to use water to spray the grit off, but it's just to spray it off. After you've sprayed the heavy stuff off, anything that's going to have like rocks or sand chips that would give you sand nicks, you can just spray this stuff, wipe it wet, and then wipe it dry before it dries on your paint or the gel coat on your rig, and it looks amazing. Oh, so next on the list is the shrinking hose. I have just a generic Amazon, probably like Chinese brand shrinking water hose, but I'm sure there's some name brands for you guys that care about that stuff. But this is my second one in 3 years. So the first one finally broke after, I would say, about 1.5 years of like intense use, throwing it in the back of the truck, all kinds of just leaving it out in the sun, not really taking care of it. So I beat it up, and it still lasted me like 1.5 years. But basically it's a 100-foot hose, shrinks down to about 30 feet, and then once you fill it up, it expands all the way to 100 feet. It just saves you space. Everybody who's been RVing long enough knows about that white water hose. I don't even know what it's called. It's for drinking water, but just trying to get that thing wrapped up and put away in your rig without taking up all the space.
Okay, so the last one is kind of a multi-purpose use. You can use it inside or outside.
True.
But they are these amazing black collapsible baskets. We use them in the boys' room for toys, and then he uses them outside for I don't know what.
I use them all over. So I have some. When we were looking to go back full time in the rig, I was looking for milk crates because I was seeing those all over. When you go on YouTube, when you go to RV parks, you see guys with all these milk crates. So one day we were in Costco walking around, boom, I saw these little containers that looked like milk crates, but they were collapsible. And I went over there, of course I started playing with them, and I was like, this is perfect. So I have them in my truck bed for groceries, because you know the diesel truck beds are so big your groceries will roll down to the back, and you got to get inside, go get them. So I use them, I keep them collapsed in the truck bed, and then when we go to the grocery store, I'll pop them up and put the bags in. It makes it super easy to take groceries from the truck bed to the RV, and we put them away, collapse them, take them back to the truck bed. I have them underneath. I have that big white drinking water hose that we talked about in there. I keep our power cord in one. The boys use them for their toys. Like even when we were in our house, they used to put their toys in there, and it gets them out of the way so they can, if they want to use them just to bring them to the living room and play, they can take all their toys out, and then when they're done they can put them all back and go put them away. All at once, so it's not the 50 million trips back and forth like my sons like to do.
And then when you're done with them, they stack really
yes, and they stack on top of each other, which is perfect. They stack open in use, and they stack when they're collapsed, so it saves a lot of space. And every time we park somewhere and I pull those out, people are always asking me where I got them. And my good buddy back in Arizona, Reed, he saw me with those, and I told him they were a must-have.
So yes, that is 10 things, 10 random things you didn't know you needed for full-time RV life. Yeah, definitely worth getting. Yeah. Again, if it's your first time watching us, like and subscribe. Get in the comments, let us know if we missed anything that you guys use, because I'm always looking for more convenient things for the RV. On Amazon, I'm always looking around. And all the links
Costco, I'm always
will be below.
Links below. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye guys.